My name is Thomas Schmiedinger and I'm a political scientist and social anthropologist from Vienna University in Austria. I'm working on Middle Eastern policies, especially on the Kurds, but also on migration and on the relationship between religion and state, especially on jihadism. This is one of the reasons why when young Austrians started to travel to Daesh, their parents started to contact me in Austria and asked me what they could do to prevent that. The way how European states deal with convicts that are connected with jihadist groups is very different. So some European states have some kind of de-radicalization programs in prison, some don't. So in my opinion it's also not enough to imprison these people, it's also the question, what do you do with them when they are in prison? Because in the worst case they can use the prisons for recruitment of other jihadis. In Denmark there's the so-called Aarhus project, Aarhus program, where they try to re-socialize young jihadi extremists in the city of Aarhus, and it seems that this is somehow working for at least many of them.
We are here at Roche camp, where about 300 families, that means mainly women and children of ISIS members, are hosted. More than 100 of these 300 women and children are European citizens. So many of them originally come from Germany, Austria, France, Netherlands, Denmark and other countries. None of these countries did take them back until now. I think we cannot give this responsibility solely to the Kurdish fighters here. Although they treat them very well, I don't see any reason why they should permanently feed hundreds of women and children. Here they live under circumstances that are very similar to the circumstances where their victims are living in refugee camps here in Syria and on the Iraqi side of the border. Nevertheless, I think they're European citizens and Europe should take the responsibility for them. Many of these people here in the camp are children. Many of them are very small children and they also have the European citizenship. Whatever their parents did, it's not the responsibility of the children. And I think we have to work with these children. These children were highly indoctrinated by Daesh. The so-called Islamic State set up training camps and schools for these children, schools that really indoctrinated them with their ideology. Many of them saw a lot of very cruel situations. Some of them were even used to commit murder by Daesh. So these children need a lot of psychological treatment to make sure that they don't become terrorists when they grow up. So it's again in the interest of the whole world to bring them to a place where this psychological treatment is possible. here the situation, although the Kurdish forces really try to treat them well, the situation does not allow psychological treatment and proper de-radicalization of adults, not to speak about the care that is needed for the small children. So I think Europe should reconsider their stand concerning these people, and what I'm trying here is also to find data about the Austrian citizens, at least because I'm from Austria, to somehow convince the European governments to take their responsibility for the situation.
My name is Mohammed. I'm from Holland. I grew up in one of the biggest cities in Holland. I studied history. I became practicing Muslim when I was 18. Got married when I was 20. Yeah, basically just living mother at home in Holland, that life. I've been in Camp Rouge since 1 year. I have 4 children. And I came to Syria in 2015. I wear the niqab in Holland, and I left for several reasons, but the main reason was for Islam. So I left to live under Islamic rule and live in a place where I could practice my Islam the most. I was able to practice my Islam in Holland, but there were things that were difficult. So I was, like I said, I was wearing niqab, and sometimes I would walk on the street and get racist comments. And, yeah, for me, I wanted to live somewhere where I could be who I want to be, and without bothering anyone and without being bothered. Yeah, well, it was not an overnight decision. We discussed about. We thought, we will live somewhere else, but where we didn't know exactly. And yeah, then the Islamic State was announced. We didn't know much about it, but after the very strong, you can call it propaganda, we believed that this was really an Islamic State, and we decided to make hijrah to the Islamic State. Yeah. I had moments in the beginning where I felt deceived. There were moments that I was okay, but towards the end, yes, I felt very deceived. It was not in the Islamic State in the sense that how people thought about it, that the people that made hijrah, how they thought about it, so that they would make hijrah to the Islamic State and live somewhere and build a home and build. It was constantly leaving places and moving and fleeing the bombings, fleeing the attacks, and trying to be safe. So it's not a state where you should. It was not a state where you should come with your children and live secure and safe. No. Directly when you cross the border. Your passport is taken, your staff are taking telephones, and you are brought to a house where you live only with women, and these women cannot leave the house. So directly you know something is wrong. You come voluntarily, so why would anybody take your passport? And I think most people realize in this moment, but you keep thinking, Hasnallah, you think good, yeah, maybe it's for good reason, but no, it's like you become state property. This is very bad. Not at all, no. If you see the إصدارات, everybody's happy. There is a normal life, and it's not just the films of the Islamic State, it's also people who were living there posting things on the net. They were saying it's like living in any other country, any other Arab country, just there are also you can wear the niqab and there's Sharia. They said this is the only difference, but there was a big difference. I've been in touch with my family, my in-laws and my brother. We have asked to go back. They are working very hard to get us back, but it all depends on the politics. Holland, my country, says that they will help us if we reach a Dutch consulate in, for example, Erbil, but they will not come to take us out from here because they say that North Syria is too dangerous to reach. I asked the YPG, and the YPG, one of their demands is that our countries come to pick us up from here because they feel that there is a danger if we leave this place and we are just like, we can go everywhere. So they feel this is too dangerous, so they really want an official delegation to come here and take us out.
In Europe at the moment, we have many extreme right-wing governments, or at least governments with the participation of extreme right-wing political parties. Also in Austria, where I come from. But not only Austria, it's the same in Hungary, Poland and some other European countries. And even in the countries where these parties are not part of the government, they are becoming stronger, and even the democratic political parties are afraid of doing something that is not popular. It is not popular in the European societies to bring back terrorists, even if the terrorists are small children who never did commit any crime. So in Europe, although these people would be persecuted, although these people would have to go to prison, I guess that maybe 90% of the European population would be happy if they would never come back. They were happy about every Daesh person who was killed in the war, and now you have some who were not killed. And it's very hard for European politicians, even for those who are democratic, who respect human rights, who respect the rule of law, and who would like to bring them back, to say this in public, because Europeans are afraid of terrorism, and the problem is also that it would take a lot of effort to work with these people, and none of the European states is willing to pay the effort to work with these women, children, and also the men, who are the more problematic thing, of course.